When I went to go see the movie Us, I did not know whatsoever where this film was going to go. But the impression Get Out left on me made me jump on the chance to finally see how Jordan Peele can top his horror debut and really prove if he's either a one-hit wonder or the director to keep your eyes on. And boy, did he trump all of my concerns massively. I was not disappointed at all. This movie blew away all of my expectations and, for the most part, forced me as an audience member to go watch it again a second time. Us is about a family of four that go on a family vacation for the summer at a family cottage of some sort, and during their stay, they're visited by another family that pretty much favors all of their physicalities and personalities, and from there, the chaos begins. Now, where do I begin about this film? I mean, this film was awesome. The world building, the suspense, the scares, it's all there. None of the terror is taken for granted or is fooling you into fear something. Every horror aspect this film has does its job and does its job well. One of the things this film does is utilize the terror even more than what Get Out was doing. It's definitely scarier than Get Out, whereas the film was more social commentary and the concept was frightening in itself. With Us, this movie uses contrast lighting, jump scares, careful shots to really give you that fright that some old classic horror movies are known for, and it doesn't feel cheap or wasted. The terror really feels more atmospheric, like you get this vibe that something is happening, and I caught myself flinching a couple times. Now, this is not to say that Get Out was a bad movie or anything, but the difference in how the tools are used for this genre in this movie versus Get Out are pretty apparent. Writing is top-notch, phenomenal stuff, and I have to give props to Jordan Peele for not being that one director to eat off of the success of his debut movie and dive into obnoxious territory with his next movie, and it's just so bonkers that it doesn't even have the same quality. Hence my fear that this movie would fail, because even though Jordan Peele before Get Out was just a sketch comedian, no one really expected this movie to be any good. Nonetheless, Get Out. What it did definitely was prove that Jordan Peele does indeed have the talent and the eye to make a quality film that all audiences can enjoy. With Us, man, what that movie has done, in my opinion, is most definitely solidify that he's a director that you can match up with horror legends before Us and currently. My concerns of him being that one-hit wonder have disappeared immensely, and I really can't wait to see what else this guy has up his sleeve. The cast, oh my God, the cast was everything. I was especially very excited to see this cast in particular involved with a film like this. Lupita Nyong'o and Winston Duke both were in Black Panther, but mostly Lupita was involved in films that didn't really give me anything to see that layered acting that I knew she could do. I know she got an Oscar for 12 Years a Slave, but I didn't want to keep backtracking to that film. Plus, her screen time, for the most part, was minimal. From the sci-fis and action movies that she's done, I never really saw that range I was looking for until this movie. I loved every single moment of her on screen. The emotional depth she goes through and the dual acting that happens on screen is so convincing, it's frightening. I'm so happy that she chose to do this film because, honestly, I couldn't think of anyone else to play her character. I'd be pissed if she's not nominated for an Oscar for this as well. Winston Duke's charm and comedy was very much needed for this movie, and I'm so glad that it wasn't over the top. One thing I can say is that most horror films have that one character that's supposed to be the comic relief, and they almost always turn out to be that just obnoxious character wasting his screen time, and more often than not, I'm hoping he's the next one to die because they're so annoying. Duke's character was entertaining, at times relieving. His comedic timing was very well done, and this is the perfect example of comedic relief done right for a character. The kids' chemistry in this film was so charming that I almost wish I took them on a camping trip with me. Like, everyone in this film did a fantastic job. Now, I have to say one thing about this film. When you go in, have an open mind. This movie takes you down a road that is typical Jordan Peele. If you don't know by now, he tends to make his movies thought-provoking at best, and this film is one of them. The plot itself is just damn entertaining, but I have to say, this isn't your average horror movie. Like Get Out, the concept of this film will frighten you, but ultimately, it makes you use your thinking cap a bit. There's some symbolism and there's a lot of visual storytelling, and if you don't pay attention, you'll miss what the film is trying to say. It's a bit dark, and the twists in this movie are just so good that even giving you one hint will spoil the whole movie. So I have to shut my mouth about that. But trust me, this film is an amazing piece of horror, and I'm just so glad we have someone like Jordan Peele who gets the genre and even more wants to tell unorthodox, unique stories that somehow manifests themselves in us so much that we can't do nothing but research them and ask questions and break down bits that may as well become topics for film classes. Now, I don't really have anything bad too much to say about this movie other than the fact that there was a time I didn't quite know what was going on. There were times where some scenes got a bit heady and I missed what the point of that scene was, mostly due because I was either too much into my head or my phone had vibrated and distracted me from the dialogue, and thus I had lost the point of that scene. But you do catch up as the film progresses on, and it's just, like I said, you really have to pay attention. You can't miss a beat on this one. Some of the themes get really deep, and if I say any more, I'll spoil it. But please, please, please experience this for yourself. It absolutely deserves to be seen. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. Now, one final thing I want to say is that this movie requires a second viewing. And I'm not just saying that because it's so good and whatnot. No. With this movie, Jordan Peele crafted it to where, because the twist is so provocative, it really does leave you with conflicting feelings about what you just watched. I can't say why or how because, like I said, spoilers. But I know that at least for me, when seeing it again, my viewing experience will change. I'm going to see a lot of things differently and probably going to have a lot more fun with it the second time. So if or when you do go in, keep in mind that whatever questions you have, it all changes the second round. And I already know that it's going to become a better film because of that. So that's all I have to say about this movie. I wish I could say more, but Jordan Peele, you devil, you. Take care, guys, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe. I should have more reviews coming soon, so stay tuned. Bye now.